Hi guys, I'm Max Weinbach with XDA TV, and today is Android 11 day, which means Google just released the first developer preview for the Pixel phones of, well, Android 11. So let's go over all of the new features and changes in Android 11 that Google just released. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to mention about Android 11 is that there aren't that many new user-facing features. Most of the features are actually on the back end to help improve developer support and such. So let me just read off some of these new features for you guys. There are new networking connectivity features. So there's a new bandwidth estimator API, dynamic meteredness API, a call screening service improvements, of course, Wi-Fi suggestion API enhancements, passport enhancements. There's a new UI support for OEMs for the punch hole. So on my Galaxy Z Flip here, Samsung now has a specific API for the punch hole instead of having to just do a notch with like a hole or something similar. There is now a dedicated conversations sections in notification. So up here, you will have different sections. We'll have one for music, one for notifications, one for silent notifications, and then messages will be likely at the top. I don't have my main sim in here, and it has been a while, so I haven't been able to actually test that section yet, but we will see. The Bubbles API, which is basically Facebook message heads, we can see it right here. This is what it looks like. That is now enabled by default. Image insertion in notification replies. So if you get a text, you can actually insert an image from your keyboard directly in the notification in the quick replies. Android 11 now supports HEIF animated drawables. So basically, think of a GIF, but higher quality and less storage. Yeah, it is amazing. And Google now supports that as part of Android 11 by default. Native image decoder. So the NDK API will let apps decode and encode images in native code for graphics and post-processing while retaining a smaller APK size, as there is no need to bundle an external library. Pretty nice. You can also mute during camera capture, so this allows you to have the camera open and it will automatically mute vibrations from ringtones, alarms, and notifications when you are recording. I know I have that issue all the time where I'm recording a video, I get a notification, and then it gets blurry for a second while the phone vibrates. Not fun. There's now new Bokeh Modes, so apps can now use metadata tags to enable Bokeh Modes on camera capture requests on devices that support it. So let's say, for example, this phone right here. Let's say Samsung allows external third-party apps to use Bokeh, right? The live focus, as Samsung calls it. Now, any app could just request access to the Bokeh, and if Samsung adds support, you can use it. We also have HDMI low input latency mode, which is pretty good. So that'll be very similar to, let's say, a computer, which when it's plugged in. New neural network APIs, which have quality of service APIs, memory domain APIs, and signed integrity asymmetric quantization, new support and expanded support for that. New app compatibility. So if you're a developer and you want to check out some of these changes, you can actually just go and enable each targeted API in a couple of the settings there to check compatibility if you're making apps for older devices. And yeah, those are some of the more back-end features Google is releasing. And this is more of a back-end update. Android 10 was about security, Android 9 was about design, Android 11 is going to be back-end and improvements. A lot of these are going to be for 5G or new phones or just all-around improvements to help out the device. And actually, as for the phone and the UI, there are a couple new features that I've noticed on my Pixel. First off, screen recording. It's now built in. So you just hit the button, hit start now, and it's recording. You can see here it's recording. It takes a second, but once it's recording, you can play, pause, stop it from there, and it'll just record everything you do. Now, unfortunately, it will not record audio. So it is just a screen recording. We don't know if this lack of audio is just because of a bug or if it won't record audio in general. But for now, it does work. Now, if you kept an eye out, you might have noticed that Android 10 actually had a screen recording, but it never worked. It would just crash. This does work. You can see here we now have the screen recording. Everything that I just did was recorded. Now the quality does not look great, and it does look very buggy with some like glitchy lines coming out through it. But again, this is a beta. Can't expect perfection on the first run. And something else you'll notice is that it is recording in the full display resolution, but it is not the frame rate. So this is not a 90 hertz video. This does look like it's about 30 FPS. It is what it is. I wouldn't expect a full 90 FPS video off the 90 hertz display. It just doesn't make sense for Google to do that. But hey, they're going to do what they want to do. A couple other things I've noticed is actually with Project Soli, or Motion Sense. So we have a couple new settings here. The first one, and the most important one, is pause music. So now you can just play and pause the music by tapping above the device. Now, I have something playing here, but it doesn't want to work since it wasn't enabled yet. Soli's weird. But if I come in here and start playing this copyright-free music, because YouTube, I can just tap above the phone, and it will play and pause without tapping it. Now, this does go in hand with the gestures for switching songs, which are notoriously bad. So I can just go back and forth a bunch, right? Pretty cool. Then tap above. And of course, you can do it out of the app. So it does work. And that's pretty nice. Another setting, I'm not sure if this is new or not, but I just noticed it, is this idle lock screen. So I have it set to always on. That's the always on display. But not everyone likes that. So you can do it while you're nearby. And it will only show it while you're nearby. And the phone it'll know if you're nearby. Now, it's hard to test this without walking across my room in the middle of the video, which is weird to do, but it'll be able to do it just while you're near the phone, which is pretty good. It'll help save battery if your phone's down or if it's on a dock or something. I do prefer the always on display just because it's easier just to glance over at it, but it's a battery saving thing if you want it. And now, of course, it still has the reach to check phone and silencing alarms. You know, basic stuff. The gestures have stayed the same, and most of the features have stayed the same. Now, something Google is releasing, but has yet to do, is actually scrolling screenshots. They said they were going to work on that. But luckily, editor-in-chief over at the XDA portal, Mishal Raham, has got it working himself. So, we can see here in this article he posted, or Adam posted for Mishal. We can see here the new UI. So it looks very similar to the Samsung UI, where it will have share, edit, and expand, and you'll be able to choose. Now, we weren't able to get this working, as it is still in development, but this will be released with the full update of Android 11 whenever that does happen. Now, if you want to see the UI currently on the phone, it's just a notification that pops up. So when you hold down, or you do it like this, which is what I usually do, you just get a little notification banner that says the screenshot was taken, and that's about it. So yeah, that is basically all I've noticed with Android 11. Now you might be wondering, Max, when is my phone getting it? And to be honest, I couldn't tell you. The betas will likely be around May for other devices, around Google I/O, which is, in May. Other devices, let's say Samsung, Huawei, OnePlus, whoever you might have, those will probably get it around August in the official update, which is generally mid-August. So if you have a phone like a OnePlus phone, Essential is no longer a company that does updates, unfortunately. But if you have like a OnePlus phone or Xiaomi, they're pretty fast. Oppo's been fast. Nokia's been fast. You'll likely have this update around mid-August, as there is a good, generally about a 6-month period of betas and developer previews before release. If you have Samsung, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit longer, but that's a given at this point. We all know how Samsung is with updates, but they are getting better. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you want a little bit more in-depth articles and information about all these new APIs and features and just everything we can find, go check out the XDA portal. I'll link our coverage, a bit of our coverage, down in the description if you want to check out specifics. But we will have everything there. And as new developer previews roll out with new features, we will do updated videos showing you guys everything new that we can find as we can find it. So thank you guys for watching. Just let me know if you have any questions.